Hello everyone, this is Ryu for the PC. This is an OpenBOR game, by the way. Open Beats of Rage. Basically what happened was, in 2003, there was a game that appeared on the scene called Beats of Rage, which was obviously Streets of Rage inspired. It was a public domain game. It was full of King of Fighters characters. Not quite sure what SNK thought, but I think there's some kind of loophole or something. If you don't try to make money out of something, you know, if it's in public domain, it doesn't matter if it's nicked from official games. Because back in the days of the Commodore 64, there was a thing called Shoot 'em Up Construction Kit. And there were a lot of shoot 'em ups people had made themselves, and they sometimes tended to have characters from official games. You could actually make your own sprites with that. I actually had a go at that. I mean, not knowing anything about shading or anything, they just looked like they were cardboard cutouts. And these look like characters from Final Fight. They look like more recent versions. I don't know where they came from originally. I mean, a lot of people make their own stuff. One of those ones in the grey outfits is actually on your side. They look like Bread from Final Fight. They're more recent version or something, I don't know. I don't know why he even bothers turning up, because he does absolutely nothing. He lasts about 5 seconds, and gets killed. Yeah, look, now he's brown bread. Oh, I've lost control of him now. This happens a lot in this game. No matter what you do, he just won't respond. Oh, at last. I don't know whether he's got... because he got knocked over a couple of times. Ryu, by the way, is from the Street Fighter games. I expect most people know that already. It looks like Jake from Final Fight. Oh, it's happened again! Ah, at last. And as I was saying, there was then a thing called Open Beats of Rage, which was basically a beat-em-up construction kit, and you could make your own Streets of Rage or Final Fight, that sort of thing. I think everybody was just fed up with the fact that there was no new Streets of Rage on the scene. I mean, we could have had a really great Streets of Rage game for the Saturn, but with Open Beats of Rage there have been some really great fan-made scrolling beat-em-ups. There are things like Crime Busters, Rhythm of Destruction. There was a scrolling version of King of Fighters, Rocket Viper 2, and there are a lot of Streets of Rage and Final Fight edits, that sort of thing. And there's some really good games actually. And then there's things like this. I love the music in this level. Don't know where it came from originally. I think a lot of people tend to use old video game music. There doesn't seem to be any sense of scale in this game, and I've lost control of him again. Look at that. And this will just drive you up the wall after a while. I mean, it's talk about flipping cheap. I mean, what are you supposed to do about it exactly? These characters just look like they don't really belong in the same game. I mean, look at him, tiny little men going along. Not sure where they're from. They look kind of King of Fighters. And this looks like a street in an English town, with the wonderful respect everybody has for the streets now. It takes forever to get through this game. I mean, this is just the first level. The first time I played this, about 4 or 5 years ago, it literally took 5.5 hours to get to the end. It's just too long for a game like this. Oh, it's happened again! No matter what you do, it just won't respond. It's just as well this is on Infinite Lives. Otherwise you wouldn't last 5 flipping minutes in this. Oh, and it's happened again! This is just getting ridiculous now. And what the hell is the matter with him? I think I've seen these characters before actually. The Final Fight edits. They were in an OpenBOR game called Final Fight Alpha. I mean, that's a good game as well. You ought to look at that if you're into these kind of things. The gold bar from Streets of Rage there. We see a lot of very wealthy people around these parts. And the problem is a lot of these enemies are just, especially in later levels, they've just got far too much energy. I mean, in the later levels, it's not uncommon for the basic grunts in later levels to have huge amounts of energy. I mean, it's taken 5 minutes now. I don't think we're even halfway through this stage, to be honest. I don't know how many moves this character's got, I can't seem to find that many. If you can do his combination attack to the end, it loses a lot of energy. That's not always possible when there's a load of people around. Oh, will you move? Oh, this is just getting ridiculous now. Now I can't move, he won't do anything. He seems to be kicking the air for some reason. You'll have to stop the game. He can't move, he's not going to hit him, because this character seems to be myopic or something. If this happened with an arcade game, there'd be a flipping riot, I tell you. Well, there you are, you've got to start again. Complete bloody waste of time. I started on level 2. I presume this is level 2 anyway. There's a thing called Paxplode or something, which I think is downloadable. And I think it's also with a lot of OpenBOR games if you download them from YouTube or somewhere. You can change things in the game, like the opening level for example. Although I think you've got to really know what you're doing. And these two characters look like they're from Streets of Rage. That fat bald bloke in the leather jacket looks like the Streets of Rage 1 fire breathers. I think he actually looks like an edited version of one of the ones from the Streets of Rage Bomber Games remake. That really tall one is an edited version of the pit fighter or wrestler or whatever he is from Streets of Rage 2. I've seen that edit version of him before in one of the Russian Streets of Rage remakes. He looks like his size has been increased so he fits in with the character in this game. He just looks weird, it's kind of tall and thin, like he's stretched or something. Don't know who that bald bloke in light blue trousers is. I mean, look at these, they're got far too much energy. I mean, in the later levels, it's not uncommon for the basic grunts to have something like the equivalent of 10 lives each. And imagine Streets of Rage 2 or 3, when a lot of the ordinary Garcias and Donovans and that had 10 lives each. It would take me forever. That fire breather, incidentally, has got 2,000 hit points, which is the equivalent of 20 lives. And he's not even a boss, for crying out loud. This is only level 2. Or it might be the second part of level 1, I don't know. I mean, seriously, this kind of thing just doesn't make it harder, it just pads the game out to the point of tedium. I just lost control of him again there. Just refuses to respond, I don't know what the hell happens there. I mean, like in Streets of Rage 3, the international version, a lot of the characters in that just had far too many lives. I mean, they've got nothing on these, I'll tell you that. It is like this all the way through the game. I mean, there's just so many characters that got huge energy bars, and one of the levels ends in a load of these jump-attacking Brian Battlers from King of Fighters, and it is just really, I mean, really, you have got to have the patience of several saints. None of these have got any hair, as if in a nuclear war or something. Yes, obviously a lot of radiation fallout. Oh, let's see if we can get rid of this one without him suddenly just standing there doing nothing. Oh, he's almost dead now. Yes, it's taken, what, 2.5 minutes to deal with 3 people. Hello. That was the week, that was. The bunnies are here, no doubt. Don't know where these came from originally. There's a website called the Mugen Archive. I think you can get a lot of stuff like this, you know, characters and backgrounds and things. I think Mugen is like a do-it-yourself King of Fighters, Street Fighter or something like that. I've never really been a fan of one-on-one fighting games, to be honest. I prefer scrolling beat-em-ups. That bread didn't last very long. Bet he wishes he'd stayed in his farmhouse now. Oh, and here's another of these flipping people. Yes, let's see if we can get rid of this bloke before we die of old age or the earth gets sucked into the sun. That low kick of his doesn't actually seem to work. And I think we're going to have to speed things up a bit, to be quite honest. Yeah, well, it's going to take forever to get anywhere with this game. There's no way I'm sitting here for 5.5 hours. This is just not much fun to play whatsoever. The enemies are just too overpowered. They've got far too much energy. I mean, 5.5 flipping hours? Who is going to sit there for that long without either putting an axe through the screen or tearing all their hair out? This game is boring, it's broken, it's glitchy. and I've just lost control of them again. That is it. Sod it. There are much better open world games out there.
Deeper in the darkness you were